It's only the midway point of the season, but we still have a lot of information on the athletes that were selected in the top 10 of the NFL draft. Who justified their draft position, and who was an all-out bust. Here's our evaluation of the top 10 picks of the 2022 NFL rookie class. Drafted at number 10 is wide receiver for the New York Jets Garrett Wilson. Wilson was the second wide receiver to be selected and has so far impressed. Despite being the recipient of balls from quarterback Zach Wilson, Wilson has managed to attract 68 targets and has caught 42 of those balls being thrown at him for a catch completion percentage of 61.8%. It's pretty good for a rookie who has to contend with other wide receivers of the likes of veteran Corey Davis and the talented Elijah Moore. Not to mention that the Jets are a run-first offense, or run as much as they can, so the opportunities for wide receivers such as Wilson are limited. Still, he has 2 touchdowns on the season and on a team that has a winning record, and that's vying for a playoff spot, which was unheard of at the start of the season. There is no doubting Wilson's ability. He knows how to get separation, and he's proven he can make catches for significant yardage. Had he been drafted to a team with a better quarterback, Wilson would probably have more than 521 yards receiving at the halfway point. Still, he remains a solid player worthy, and he deserves the B+ grade that we are giving him, given his production and draft position. The player selected 9th overall in the 2022 NFL Draft is offensive lineman for the Seattle Seahawks, Charles Cross. Now, it's understandable that you may not be aware of Charles Cross given his position and that he is on the Seahawks, although I'm sure you will hear a lot more about him. The 6'5", 305-pound 21-year-old is the man responsible for protecting quarterback Geno Smith. In fact, the reason Geno has been able to have an amazing season is partly due to the protection that he has been receiving from Cross and his fellow offensive linemen. That is a huge part of being a lineman in the NFL, protecting the quarterback and creating gaps for the run game. But what has truly set Charles Cross apart from the rest is his durability. He has played 100% of the snaps in every game except one, where he only played in 97%. It's really all you can ask for a lineman, let alone one that's a rookie, which is why we are giving Charles Cross a grade of a solid A. The 8th overall pick of the 2022 NFL Draft was wide receiver Drake London of the Atlanta Falcons. This selection hurts in so many ways because none of us expected the Falcons to be a purely run offense team. Atlanta ditched the passing game almost entirely so that they can control the clock and have everyone who's able to run the ball, including their quarterback, Marcus Mariota. It's been a challenging season for London, who only has 38 receptions from 62 targets for a catch completion percentage of 61.3%. It is truly strange that someone that's 6'5" and can run fast is barely breaking the 60% mark in terms of catch completions. London also only has 407 receiving yards, but on the slim bright side, he does have 3 touchdowns. The issue of his lack of productivity doesn't solely stem from the rookie though. He is in a system that doesn't suit him, and therefore we're giving out 2 grades here. A solid B for Drake London and an F for the Falcons. The player drafted 7th overall was drafted by the New York Giants offensive tackle Evan Neal. The 6', 7-inch, 360-pound athlete who played college ball in Alabama had a strong start to his NFL rookie season, where he played in 100% of the snaps in 5 of his 6 games before being carted off injured in Week 7 against the Jaguars. Neal suffered a knee injury and is slowly returning to action. It will be a while before he gains back his full strength, but there are reports surfacing that he is returning to practice and might be available should the Giants decide to risk playing him. Despite his durability issue, Evan Neal showed great discipline at the offensive line position, where he was only called once for a false start penalty in those 7 games that he featured. Still, we are here to dish out grades, and I'm afraid with all the promise and the lack of game time, Evan Neal gets a C- from us. The number 6 player in the NFL Draft was selected by the Carolina Panthers, and he is none other than offensive tackle Ikem Ekwonu. Now, I know you might be wondering who he is and if we are pronouncing his name correctly, but the 6', 4-inch, 320-pound athlete will make sure that you don't forget his name. Ikem Ekwonu has featured in every single game and in every single snap. There is also one glaring issue though, and that is his discipline. He has been called for holding 3 times, which if you don't know is a 15-yard penalty and negates any offensive plays that gain positive yardage. In other words, Ekwonu has cost his team a minimum of 45 yards. He has also had 3 false start calls against him. But what makes Ekwonu an attractive player is his speed off the snap and his ability to run and pass blocks. Still, he's costing his team, which I suppose falls into the classification of being a rookie. so we will give him a C+ grade. On to the top 5, and at number 5 selected by the New York Giants is defensive end Kayvon Thibodeaux. At 6 foot 5 inches and 250 pounds, Thibodeaux is starting to make an impact on this Giants team with his performances on the defensive side of the ball. Despite not being able to play for a couple of weeks, Thibodeaux has managed to record 1 sack, 3 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. He also has 12 solo tackles and 6 assists, which means this athlete is everywhere on the field. Thibodeaux wants you to know that he is coming after you, and if he can't get to you, he will raise his hands and deflect those throws. He has been essential to the Giants' defense and a spark whenever he's on the field. For those reasons, we are giving this selection an A- grade. At number 4 is Sauce Gardner, selected by the New York Jets. Now you have to have a heart made of concrete if you don't love this player. The cornerback has played in every single game and has recorded 13 pass deflections. 13! He also has 2 interceptions, which he took for 19 yards. What's more impressive though? Stopping the main receivers from getting the ball 13 times or picking off the quarterback twice? I know, they're equally as impressive. Sauce Gardner is the energetic spark of this strong Jets defense, and at only 22 years old, it appears that he has a Hall of Fame jacket waiting for him should he stay healthy. We never do this, but we are awarding the Jets and Sauce Gardner the big A+ grade. At 3rd overall, the Houston Texans selected Stingley Jr, a cornerback from LSU. Now, you might not know this because, like us, you might avoid watching the Texans, but Stingley is putting up some impressive numbers. He's a 6 foot 1 inch, 195 pound corner who has played in every single game and has 1 interception for 9 yards, 5 pass deflections, and a sack. The sack stat is probably the most important one from the bunch. It tells us that Stingley has the speed and strength to tackle the quarterback, but also the anticipation and time to challenge his perfection. He strikes us as a solid player, maybe not at the level of Sauce Gardner, but he's still high up there, which is why we are giving him a B+ grade. Now, the second player selected in the entire NFL draft was defensive end Aidan Hutchinson of the Detroit Lions. At 6 feet 7 inches and 265 pounds, Hutchinson has the speed and strength to get to the quarterback as evidenced by his stats so far this season. In 9 games, he has 5.5 sacks, 19 solo tackles, and 9 assisted tackles. 4 of those tackles resulted in lost yardages for the opposition. He has hit the quarterback 10 times and picked him off once. That's right, Hutchinson has an interception to go along with his impressive tackling, which is why he deserves a solid A grade from us. And finally, the number 1 player selected in the 2022 NFL Draft was Travon Walker by the Jacksonville Jaguars. The defensive end was listed as the top defensive prospect going into the draft, and here's why. So far this season, Walker hasn't missed a game and has recorded 36 tackles, half of which were assisted. This means he's not only getting to the player, but he's helping out his teammates too. From those tackles, 3 resulted in lost yardage, and he also got the quarterback 6 times. Of those 6, he recorded 2.5 sacks. Like Hutchinson, Walker also has an interception and 2 pass deflections. He is an incredible athlete who has the durability to match his productivity, making him an A++ player. Now, which grades would you give this list of players? Do you happen to agree with our ratings? Please let us know in the comments below, but before you go, if you still want to watch some awesome NFL content like this, please watch the next video that will pop on your screen.